As I lashed the whip fiercely against the guard, a line of comments suddenly floated across my vision. The villainess is courting death, daring to treat the great villain in the book like this. No wonder she ends up skinned alive and dying a horrible death. But the villainess won't be smug for long. She'll be retaliated against by the villain soon. I really don't want to see her vicious face. I'm already looking forward to the crazy, forceful plot where the villain is redeemed by the innocent White Lotus heroine. Just as I was puzzled, the comments suddenly changed. Wait, something's wrong with the villain's reaction. Why is he blushing? Upstairs, I don't think the villain's looking at the villainess like he wants to tear her to pieces. It's more like he wants to devour her completely, leaving nothing behind. My hand wielding the whip paused. Xia Qiyuan was kneeling on the ground, his bare back covered in blood from my whipping. His head was lowered, strands of hair stuck to his cheeks with sweat, and from my angle, I could only see his thin jawline and tightly clenched lips. Seeing that I hadn't moved for a long time, he raised his head in confusion. The moment our eyes met, I saw a hint of gloom in his eyes that he hadn't had time to hide. Impudent, how dare you look directly at me? The whip lashed against his chest. He grunted and lowered his eyes in silence. The comments started rolling again. The villainess is so mean, so jealous. Your good days are numbered when he becomes the regent. The villain must want to tear the villainess to pieces right now. I looked at Xia Qiyuan in confusion. Regent, wasn't he just a guard in my mansion? Thinking of this, I used my riding crop to lift Xia Qiyuan's chin and examine him carefully. I hadn't paid attention to his appearance before. After all, he was just a lowly guard. But now I realized that he was actually quite handsome. His skin was pale, his eyebrows and eyes were dark, and his face was handsome. Even his figure was good. His muscles were strong and solid but not exaggerated, somewhere between a boy and a young man, youthful but strong. But so what? What kind of top-quality men haven't I seen? Although Xia Qiyuan was indeed the most top-quality, that didn't mean I would be tempted by his beauty. I thought about it carefully and realized that Xia Qiyuan's background was indeed unusual. He was an orphan and was sold into the Prime Minister's mansion at the age of 13 to become my guard. Now, 5 years had passed, and he had long lost his childishness. But although his appearance was excellent, he was very taciturn. At first, I didn't pay attention to him at all. Until today when I saw Cui Wanro giving him ointment, I arrested him and punished him. Cui Wanro was my half-sister, but she had been at odds with me since she was a child, and in my eyes, accepting her things was betraying me. Thinking of this, I sneered. You can't even be a loyal dog. Do you like Cui Wanro that much? That's right, she's a lowly concubine's daughter, and you're a lowly guard, a perfect match, perhaps because of the lesson from the whip just now. Xia Qiyuan kept his eyes lowered even when I lifted his chin. He said hoarsely, I dare not. I will always be Mrs. Dog. Xia Qiyuan seemed to be very afraid of me, and even though I was a step away from him, I could hear his heart beating violently. Comments, is the villain's character OOC? Wasn't the author's setting for him to be calm and rational, not reacting even if a knife was held to his neck? How could he be so frightened by the villainess lifting his chin? Am I the only one who thinks the villain's reaction is strange? He doesn't seem scared, but more like excited. You know what? The villainess's bad expression combined with her enchanting face is just amazing. I'd be excited too. Upstairs, go eat something good. The villain only loves the heroine. Okay, but the next second, the comments paused. I grinned and stepped on Xia Qiyuan's bloody chest with the tip of my shoe, pressing down hard. Xia Qiyuan groaned, his face pale, but I only felt relieved and happy, and the pressure under my feet increased. Xia Qiyuan panted heavily, his breathing uneven, the pain making the corners of his eyes red. Before long, my legs started to ache, and as soon as I put my foot down, I saw Xia Qiyuan staring intently at the shoe I had stepped on. I frowned. Was he planning to retaliate, to chop off my feet in the future? The thought made my expression even more sinister. What's with that look? Xia Qiyuan said softly. This servant's blood is dirty. It has tainted Mrs. Shoes. Hearing him say that, I scoffed and pushed the blood-stained tip of my shoe in front of him. If that's the case, I'll spare your life as long as you lick it clean for this, miss. The comments scrolled even more intensely. Ah, this female supporting character is so disgusting. She can even think of such humiliating methods. Woo woo, the villain is so pitiful. you must kill the vicious female supporting character when you turn the tables. Just when I thought Xia Qi Yuan would submit with a face full of humiliation, he trembled and grasped my ankle, extending a scarlet tongue to lick the tip of my shoe. I frowned, instinctively wanting to pull back, but Xia Qi Yuan held my ankle tightly. He looked up at me, his dark gaze making him look less like a tail-wagging, tongue-lolling dog begging for favor, more like a venomous snake waiting to hunt its prey. Flicking its forked tongue, my brow twitched, and I kicked him hard. Let go, disgusting. The kick was extremely forceful, landing right on Xia Qi Yuan's wound, but his expression didn't change, and he knelt quietly to the side, returning to his usual low-key, restrained appearance, as if everything just now was my imagination, but I knew it was all his disguise, just as disgusting as Cui Wanru, who only knew how to cry and pretend to be pitiful all day long. Just seeing him made me angry, and I said coldly, "Get out," as Xia Qi Yuan turned around. I seemed to see his Adam's apple bob violently. The comments also confirmed what I saw at this time. "Ah, this is too hot. Who understands the shoe-licking just now? It doesn't feel humiliating at all, but the sense of taboo is full. The body size difference between the young lady and the gloomy guard is so good. The villain can hold the young lady's entire ankle in one hand. And the blue veins on the back of his hand are really sexy." The villain swallowed just now. "He just licked the young lady's shoes. He's simply a pervert." The villain's reaction doesn't seem like he's been humiliated, but more like he's enjoyed it. I didn't understand what these words meant, but I always felt they weren't good words. After Xia Qi Yuan left, I sorted out my thoughts. According to these words, I deduced that I was the vicious female supporting character in the story. And Xia Qi Yuan is the biggest villain in the book, who will skin me alive in the future. When I learned of my tragic ending, logically I should treat Xia Qi Yuan well and beg him to let me go, but I didn't plan to do that. I would rather die in pain than live in humiliation. Thinking like this, I will not let him go. In the cold of winter, a thick layer of ice formed on the lake, and I made Xia Qi Yuan kneel on the ice. In the freezing weather, he was only wearing a thin linen garment, his face pale, and his lips frozen purple. But his back was still very straight. I sat in a large wicker chair, wrapped in a warm fox fur cloak, and sipped the new tea that had just been offered to the royal family. Seeing this, I sneered, "His bones are quite hard, let's see how long you can last." While I was watching the show, a slender figure suddenly ran towards Xia Qi Yuan. I narrowed my eyes. Cui Wanru draped her fox fur cloak over Xia Qi Yuan's body and was talking to him. I was too far away to see the expression on Xia Qi Yuan's face, but I saw him take off the fox fur cloak. Comments also appeared at this time. "Ah, the heroine has finally appeared. The little white rabbit and the big bad wolf love story I've been waiting for is finally about to be staged. The villain will only like the heroine. The heroine is the only white moonlight in his heart." My expression turned cold. So, Cui Wanru is the female lead in this story. Did the author's brain short-circuit? How could someone like her be the female lead? What kind of protagonist acts like such a bitch? I stood up and went to the frozen lake, and the maid behind me quickly held up an umbrella to shield me from the snow. Cui Wanru had been talking to Xia Qi Yuan, but her face changed when she saw me. But the next second, she stood in front of Xia Qi Yuan and said firmly, "Third sister, it's too cold. Please let him go, or he will die." I scoffed, my eyes icy. "Since when is it the place of a lowly-born concubine like you to make decisions in the Prime Minister's residence?" Cui Wanru's face turned pale, and her eyes instantly reddened. As the tension escalated, a male voice broke the silence. "Then am I qualified to make decisions?" The person who came was dressed in moon-white brocade, with a handsome face. It was the fifth prince, Xiao Yu. He is also my fiancé. As soon as Xiao Yu appeared, the barrage became even more intense. With a loud bang in the sky, the male lead makes a dazzling entrance. The male lead is about to help the female lead slap the villainous female supporting character in the face. I'm so excited. I looked at Xiao Yu, not expecting that he would be the male lead in this book. No wonder he and Cui Wanru, that bitch, are a couple. Xiao Yu frowned and looked at me. "Cui Wanin, you are abusing your servants just because you are the Prime Minister's legitimate daughter." Without any generosity befitting a lady of a noble family, Cui Wanru, with reddened eyes, grabbed the corner of Xiao Yu's clothes. "Your Highness, fifth prince, don't say that." Third sister is just too angry, it's all my fault. Seeing that he was injured, I thought of giving him some ointment, but I didn't expect to make third sister jealous. It's all my fault. Xiao Yu's expression became even angrier upon hearing this. Cui Wanyin, how can you be so vicious? I sneered. So what? He's just a lowly servant. I saved his life. I can do whatever I want with him. Barrage. The female supporting character is also OOC. Why is she refuting the male lead? Shouldn't she be pretending to be pitiful and begging for forgiveness right now? But the female supporting character is so cool like this. And Xia Qiyuan, at some point, knelt down at my feet. Cui Wanru bit her lip and suddenly looked at me. Since he is just a servant, would sister be willing to give him to me? I gently kicked Xia Qiyuan's shoulder with my foot. Are you willing? Cui Wanru looked at him expectantly, her eyes gentle, as if encouraging him not to be afraid. I scoffed. Disgusting. Xia Qiyuan raised his eyes, his dark eyebrows stained with ice and snow. His voice was very soft, but his tone was firm. Thank you for your kindness, fourth miss, but this servant is unwilling. Miss is right, I am her person, and she can do whatever she wants with me. Cui Wanru's face turned green. I chuckled, a little surprised. I thought Xia Qiyuan would agree. After all, those strange words said that Xia Qiyuan liked Cui Wanru, and he should be eager to be by her side every day, right? But why would he refuse now? Could it be that Xia Qiyuan stayed to monitor me and cooperate with Cui Wanru from the inside out? But it doesn't matter now. I gave Cui Wanru a provocative smile. What's not yours will never be taken away. Neither status nor even this dog. As I said that, I stepped on Xia Qiyuan's shoulder with the tip of my shoe. You agree, right? Yes, miss. Cui Wanru's eyes instantly turned red. Pei Yu couldn't bear to see her humiliated and wronged, and angrily said to me, Cui Wanyin, what do you mean by this? Apologize. I smiled faintly, my eyes cold. Fifth prince, why are you, an outsider, interfering in the affairs of the women in our backyard? As her legitimate elder sister, it is my duty to discipline her. After speaking, I left with Xia Qiyuan, because he had just embarrassed Cui Wanru. I was in a good mood and pointed to the unfinished tea on the table and said to him, this pot of tea is worth 100 taels of gold, and it is the same kind that the current emperor drinks. I'll reward it to you. As I was about to leave, I saw the barrage in front of me sliding frantically. Ugh, with so many teacups. You just had to choose the one the young lady used. Villain, you're totally in love, aren't you? And his lips are touching the exact spot where the young lady's lip print was. I turned back in shock, and saw Xia Qiyuan's bright red tongue licking away the tea from the corner of his pale lips, his hand clutching the teacup I had just used. He smiled at me gently, staring at my red lips as he said, thank you for the tea, miss, it's very sweet. Maybe it was the light, but I felt that his eyes were terrifyingly deep when he said that. I clenched the soft fox fur and turned to leave in a bit of a panic. The comments went even more wild. Such aggressive eyes. He doesn't sound like he's saying the tea is sweet. He sounds like he's saying the young lady is sweet. Villain, tone down your eyes. Don't scare your wife away. A villain CP is so cool. A couple on the path of confrontation. Not long after Xia Qiyuan returned to the woodshed, he fainted. The maid asked me what to do with him. I frowned. Cui Wanru's feelings for Xia Qiyuan were unusual. I couldn't let him die so easily. I said faintly, get a doctor for him, don't let him die. As the maid turned around, I heard her mutter under her breath, this person is so strange, even when he's sick he's clutching a teacup, it's not even convenient to take his pulse. Xia Qiyuan was in excellent health. After being whipped and then catching a cold, he actually recovered in 3 days. Comments, the villain is in good shape, the female supporting character will be happy in the future. With this physique, wouldn't everyone within 100 miles have to thank him first? I was covered in black lines. What was all this about? After Xia Qiyuan recovered, I summoned him. I lay on the chaise lounge, and asked with my eyes lowered. Why didn't you agree when Cui Wanru wanted to take you away that day? You knew that Xiao Yu, that bastard, was there at the time, and if you had agreed, I wouldn't have been able to refuse. Comments, did I hear wrong? The female supporting character called the male lead a bastard. Doesn't she love the male lead? Can't you see it? Upstairs, the female supporting character despises everyone equally. The villain is a pure love warrior. The female supporting character is a pure hate warrior. Even a dog passing by will get kicked twice by the female supporting character. Xia Chi Yuan looked at me sincerely and said, because Miss said, she likes obedient dogs. Oh, really? I found it interesting. These words said that Xia Chi Yuan himself was extremely dark and sensitive inside, and that after he turned the tables, he would torture those who had bullied him to the point of wishing they were dead. How could he be calling himself a dog now? I smiled and beckoned to him. Crawl over here. Xia Chi Yuan did as he was told and crawled towards me. I used my foot to lift his chin. Xia Chi Yuan's Adam's apple bobbed, and his ears turned red. Comments. Ah, the female supporting character is so enchanting. Sister, discipline me. A modern-day Pan Hong. Look at what she's turned our big villain into. I looked at Xia Chi Yuan. If you ever become successful, will you take revenge on me? No. Xia Chi Yuan's voice was firm. I will always be loyal to Miss. I laughed and threw him a bottle. This contains the #1 poison in the world, which I bought at a great price from the western regions. Only I have the antidote. After taking it, you must come to me every 15 days to get the antidote, otherwise you will die of intestinal rot. Do you dare? I thought Xia Chi Yuan would be afraid, but he picked up the porcelain bottle and drank it without hesitation. Xia Chi Yuan looked at me with bright eyes, his voice filled with uncontrollable excitement. Miss, I didn't expect you to spend so much money to buy poison just to keep me. I'm so happy, me. But Xia Chi Yuan was still immersed in his own fantasy. No one has ever valued me so much. Miss, I admire you so much. Comments. The female supporting character doesn't even know what happened, and a dog leash automatically appeared in her hand. The young lady only needs to make a slight move, and the villain will put the collar on his own neck. Villain, she poisoned me just to keep me. She loves me so much. Xia Chi Yuan suddenly said, Miss, will I get a reward this time? His eyes were full of anticipation. Thinking of those strange words, I suddenly wanted to do an experiment. I chuckled. Of course a good dog will get a reward. I tossed him the handkerchief I usually use to wipe sweat. This handkerchief was Suzhou embroidery, embroidered with gold thread, and quite valuable. Xia Chi Yuan is the lost prince. He should know its worth. Xia Chi Yuan clutched the handkerchief tightly in his hand, his voice hoarse. Thank you, miss. As Xia Chi Yuan turned to leave, the barrage went crazy. Oh, what is the villain doing with the handkerchief? Why does his expression look like a pervert? So creepy. I curled my lips into a smile. A cheap dog is just a cheap dog, wagging its tail happily with just a little favor. A few days later, the maid handed me an invitation from Xiao Yu. I then remembered that tomorrow is his 20th birthday celebration. I said lightly, tell him I caught a cold and can't go. Barrage. The villain's eyes lit up when he heard that sentence. The little dog is so easy to coax. But then something occurred to me, and I took the invitation. I almost forgot. Xiao Yu and I are still engaged. It's a good opportunity to break off the engagement tomorrow. And when Xia Chi Yuan saw me accept the invitation, his expression instantly changed from sunny to gloomy. Barrage. 1 second. Hee. Next second. Not hee. When attending the banquet, I brought Xia Chi Yuan with me. I want to see what kind of tricks these people can pull. To prevent Xia Chi Yuan from embarrassing me, I specially ordered people to dress him up. He wore a neat black brocade robe, embroidered with understated and luxurious gold thread. His figure was tall and straight as a pine tree, and he looked somewhat like a regent, but I always felt like something was missing. After a careful look, I finally realized what it was: accessories. His slender waist was bare, and he needed a pendant to match. I rummaged through my brocade box and finally chose a cyan jade accessory. The jade was in the shape of a snake, inlaid with gold edges, worth 1,000 gold. I tossed the jade pendant to Xia Chi Yuan. Wear it, don't embarrass me. Barrage. This isn't a vicious female lead. She's clearly my precious darling. Is the eldest miss still missing a dog? Xia Chi Yuan didn't seem to know how to wear it, and fumbled for a long time without putting it on. Seeing him clumsy, I was a little annoyed, snatched it away and put it on for him. After putting it on, I looked up and met a pair of dark and unclear black eyes. My heart skipped a beat and I quickly backed away. But I saw that Xia Chi Yuan's originally fair earlobes were now completely red. Barrage. The villain's eyes were so scary just now. It looked like he was going to eat the eldest miss. That scene just now was so cute. like a married couple of many years, the wife helping her husband with his attire. Xia Qiyuan played with the jade pendant on his waist and said in a hoarse voice, "Thank you, Miss Barrage. Wait, I remember the villain knows how to wear accessories. Is he doing it on purpose, wanting the eldest miss to help him wear it? The bad dog is enjoying himself again. What a scheming Black Lotus, secretly creating physical contact with his wife." I looked at Xia Qiyuan in shock. "You know how to wear accessories?" Xia Qiyuan's expression remained unchanged. "No, Barrage, keep making it up. He lived in the palace until he was 13. How is it possible he doesn't know? The eldest miss seems very scheming and smart on the surface. But she's actually hollow." Me, at the banquet, I saw Xiao Yu. He was standing with Xin Wanru. The two also saw me, and their expressions changed when they saw Xia Qiyuan behind me. Xiao Yu asked in a deep voice, "Who is he?" No wonder he didn't recognize Xia Qiyuan. Xia Qiyuan had been keeping his head down that day, and he had been tortured by me until he was emaciated. A huge difference from his current appearance in brocade clothes. Even on the way here, many noble ladies were blushing and whispering about him. I touched his head and smiled. "My little dog." Xia Qiyuan instantly blushed. Xiao Yu, on the other hand, turned dark. Cui Wanru's face was pale. The comments section, "Are they putting on a magic show here?" One sentence, and 3 people changed their expressions for me at the same time. Xiao Yu's eyes were cold. Cui Wanin. "We still have an engagement. How can you be so shameless?" I rolled my eyes. "So he remembers we have an engagement. Then what does he think he's doing, being all lovey-dovey with Cui Wanru every day?" "Not anymore." I pushed him away. Xiao Yu roared from behind. "What do you mean?" I sneered. "Of course I meant I wanted to call off the engagement." Down on the stage, seeing that the banquet was about to end, I drained the wine in the pot to embolden myself. Just as I was about to tell the emperor about breaking off the engagement, I suddenly felt a wave of heat all over my body. Damn it, I've been drugged. To prevent myself from making a fool of myself at the banquet and ruining my lifelong reputation, I hunched over and sneaked out. Just as I was wandering aimlessly around the palace, a man suddenly stopped me. My mother had a good relationship with the current empress, and she often brought me to the palace when I was little. So I recognized him at a glance as the palace's stableman. He grabbed me and tried to drag me into the imperial garden. "Miss Cui, what's wrong?" I tried to push him away, but my body was limp and weak. In despair, I suddenly stumbled into a warm embrace. When I came to my senses, the stableman had been kicked far away and was spitting out a mouthful of blood. I looked up. It was Xia Qiyuan. He hugged my waist tightly, with a force that seemed like he wanted to melt me into his bones. I didn't care about his presumptuous behavior and said with difficulty, "I've been drugged. Take me away quickly." Xia Qiyuan looked at my flushed face, and his Adam's apple bobbed. "Okay," he said in a low voice. Xia Qiyuan rode a fast horse and took me to an inn. As he was about to help me into the room, I grabbed a passing man. Seeing that he had a good appearance and figure, I said hoarsely, "Do it with me. I'll give you benefits afterward." The man looked me up and down. Just as he was about to take my hand, I was pulled away forcefully, then trapped in a hot embrace. Xia Qiyuan looked at the man with icy eyes. "Get out." The man was frightened by Xia Qiyuan's murderous gaze and ran away. The next moment, I was thrown onto the bed, which made me dizzy. Xia Qiyuan pinched my chin. "What is Miss doing? Can't you tell? My eyes were bloodshot. I need to detoxify." Xia Qiyuan stroked my burning eyes. His eyes filled with bloodshot veins at some point. "Then miss, let me do it. I'm very clean." I looked at Xia Qiyuan hazily. I was the one who was drugged with aphrodisiacs, but he seemed to be enduring it even more painfully. The sweat on his forehead dripped onto my neck, making my whole body numb. My hand reached into his clothes, touching his strong and muscular chest, and said in a hoarse voice, "If you make me uncomfortable, I'll kill you." As soon as I finished speaking, Xia Qiyuan suddenly kissed my lips. Blocking the rest of my words, he whispered, "I promised to satisfy Miss." The comments section was full of wailing. Why did it suddenly get censored? Is there anything that our VIP members can't see? 2 hours later, Xia Qiyuan finally stopped. Seeing his satisfied look, I supported my sore waist and flew into a rage, slapping him hard across the face. "Can't you understand human language when I tell you to stop?" Xia Qiyuan wasn't ashamed or annoyed. He grabbed my slightly red palm, gently rubbed it against his cheek, and kissed it. Miss, you smell so good. The comments section. When the young lady slapped the villain, the first thing that floated over was the fragrance, then the slap. At the moment when the fragrance filled the nasal cavity, the burning sensation on the face wasn't pain, but pleasure. The young lady is afraid that the villain will lick her palm even when she slaps him. I really don't know who Xia Qiyuan learned this rogue behavior from. When I got out of bed and looked in the bronze mirror, I almost exploded. Xia Qiyuan really was like a dog, biting my skin all over with purple and blue marks. When I got home, I saw my father looking at me with a gloomy expression. Standing beside him were the tearful Cui Wanru and the stern-faced Xiao Yu. Oh ho, here to complain. My father made me go to the ancestral hall, while Xia Qiyuan was left outside. My father held a thumb-thick long whip in his hand. Cui Wanin, do you still have any sense of shame? The banquet wasn't even over and you left on the same horse as a strange man. Xiao Yu's face darkened even more upon hearing this. I looked at Cui Wanru. Did you drug my wine? The wine pot was a mandarin duck pot. When half of the wine inside was gone, it would automatically switch to the other half. But I didn't notice it at the time, focused only on waiting for the banquet to end so I could mention the annulment of the engagement to the emperor. But now that I think about it, Cui Wanru was the only one who could have done something at Xiao Yu's birthday banquet. A hint of panic flashed in Cui Wanru's eyes. Enough, my father roared. How could Roer drug you with so many people at the banquet? It's clearly your own shamelessness, and you're blaming it on your sister. Today, I'm going to teach you a good lesson. He held the whip and pointed at the offering table where the ancestral tablets were placed, saying to me, kneel down. Xiao Yu suddenly said, Master Cui, there's really no need to. In the next moment, everyone was stunned. I picked up the broom from the corner used to sweep away cobwebs and swept all the ancestral tablets enshrined in the ancestral hall to the ground. Crash, bang, instantly, the entire ancestral hall was in chaos. My father completely went crazy. I'll kill you. I directly stepped onto the offering table, wildly swinging the broom. I smashed all the incense burners and fruit offerings on top down at the three of them. Come on, let's just die together. When the time comes, I'll directly embroider a dragon robe on my clothes and assassinate the emperor, implicating 9 generations of relatives. With the entire family executed, I'm gonna sweep through the ancestral hall, be myself again. The female supporting character has such a beautiful mental state. My father's lips turned green with anger, and he pointed at me with a trembling finger. I scoffed, looked at Xia Qiyuan waiting at the door, and beckoned him to come over. Xia Qiyuan acted as if he didn't see the 3 people present and walked straight towards me. I held out my hand, and Xia Qiyuan helped me down from the offering table. I tidied my disheveled hair and smiled slightly at the 3 of them. If you dare to cause trouble again, I'll drag you down to die with me. After returning to the room, I sat in front of the bronze mirror, and Xia Qiyuan carefully tidied my hair. After resting, I said to Xia Qiyuan, bring Cui Wanru here. Xia Qiyuan didn't ask why and turned to leave. Not long after, Xia Qiyuan threw Cui Wanru, gagged and tied up, in front of me. Cui Wanru looked terrified. What do you want to do? I smiled slightly. You don't think that the matter of you drugging me to ruin my reputation will just pass like this, do you? Is it really the female lead who did it? Why is everyone OOC? I'm increasingly unable to understand how this story is progressing. Cui Wanru bit her lip. If you dare to touch me, His Highness will not let you go. I scoffed. Even if he comes, I'll beat him. Seeing me take out a hairpin, Cui Wanru completely panicked. Cui Wanin, why are you hitting me? I held the hairpin against her cheek. You're just a lowly person born of a concubine, asking me why. Cui Wanru glanced at Xia Qiyuan and suddenly said, everyone is equal. You're relying on power to do things that harm heaven and reason, and you'll be punished sooner or later. I scoffed. You're just a concubine, and you're cooperating with me to talk about equality. I grabbed her hair tightly. Before my father got married, he was just a poor scholar from a humble family, while my mother was the only daughter of the richest man in the capital, with wealth comparable to the national treasury. The brocade clothes you're wearing and the delicacies you eat every day are all my mother's family property. Even the money you donate every year to pretend to be a good person is from my family. My dead old man said nice things when he married my mother, saying she would be his only wife in this life, but now can you count how many concubines he's taken? If it were just that, I wouldn't bother with you. After all, my father is a beast and it's none of your concubine business, but you and that vixen of a mother of yours just had to be restless, poisoning my mother's pregnancy tonic when she was pregnant with her second child. How much dowry did your mother bring when she married into the Chui family? She brought nothing. Eating my family's food and using my family's things, and still wanting to take everything from me. I don't like Xiao Yu, but he has a marriage contract with me, and if I don't like it, I'll cancel the engagement myself, instead of you using every means to steal my things. What if I ruin your face? Even if I sell you, you'll have to endure it, otherwise, you can just return all the money you've spent over the years, I said to Xia Qi Yuan. Hold her down. Xia Qi Yuan paused, then immediately obediently stepped forward and trampled Chui Wanru under his feet, disgusted as if she were something dirty. Chui Wanru couldn't believe it. Xia Qi Yuan, how could you do this to me? The person you like is clearly me. Barrage, damn, the heroine's reaction is wrong, and she just said everyone is equal. Isn't that a modern idea? Could the heroine be a time traveler? No wonder she could do something so OOC like drugging someone and ruining their innocence. I said the original heroine was stupid but not bad. Seeing this, I was even more determined to torture this evil spirit who stole someone's body. I picked up a hairpin and drew it across Chui Wanru's face again and again. A shrill scream came from my ear, but I had no pity. It wasn't until Chui Wanru's entire face was ruined beyond recognition that I finally felt relieved. Barrage, Miss is so scary. I almost forgot the Miss's character setting. The Miss is the only one in the entire book whose character hasn't collapsed. I sneered. Everyone says I'm a vicious female supporting character. Of course I'm cruel. I ordered people to throw Chui Wanru out. After feeling relieved, I sat in front of the bronze mirror and pondered, but I will not only not let Chui Wanru go, but I will also not let my father and Xiao Yu go, since this is a fake world. Then I don't need to worry so much, but one is a prime minister and the other is a prince. And after the ancestral hall incident, my relationship with them has completely broken down, so I can't kill them now, so there is only one way. After returning from the crown prince's residence, Xia Qi Yuan looked at me with a gloomy expression. You want to marry Xiao Lin? I didn't ask how he knew my plan, and said lightly, yes. Why? Xia Qi Yuan clenched his fists, seemingly trying to suppress his anger. Why are there so many whys? I said irritably. He is the crown prince. And after ascending the throne, he will be the most honorable person. I also want to taste the feeling of being second only to one person and above 10,000, so I choose to marry him. Xia Qi Yuan's eyes were gloomy. I won't allow it. I slapped him hard. What qualifications do you have? I said coldly. You're just a dog, yet you're meddling in my affairs. Get out. I don't want a nosy dog. I drove Xia Qi Yuan out of the mansion, forbidding him from stepping into the Chui mansion again. Barrage, woo, is my villain CP going to be B? Good news, the female supporting character is not a love brain. Bad news, the reader is seeking a one-click death tutorial for Xiao Yu and the female supporting character. I lowered my eyes. Although my heart was sad, I did not regret it, having been together for so long. I still can't see what kind of person Xia Qi Yuan is. I don't believe he will always love me, so I will not choose to let him avenge me. The Empress knew about my affair with Xiao Yu and felt very guilty because she was the one who arranged my marriage with Xiao Yu in the first place. To make up for me, she persuaded the Emperor to let me marry Xiao Lin. My status is extremely noble, and the crown princess's position has not yet been decided, so the Emperor agreed. Soon it was the day of my wedding with the crown prince. On our wedding night, as I sat on the bridal bed waiting, a series of screams suddenly erupted outside the door. Before I could react, my veil was violently lifted. Following the trail of the blood-stained sword, I saw Xia Qi Yuan. He had changed so much, dressed in black brocade, his skin was deathly pale, yet the blood on his face made his handsome features resemble a vengeful demon. Instinctively, I clutched my wedding gown. So, this day had finally come. I was still going to die by Xia Qi Yuan's hand. I closed my eyes. And just as I thought Xia Qi Yuan would kill me with a single strike, he suddenly knelt before me. I scoffed. You, the mighty Prince Regent, kneeling before me, has the Prince Regent gotten so used to being a dog that you haven't adjusted? Barrage, it's come to this. Can the villainous stop being so stubborn and just soften up a bit? I sneered. There was no way I would lower my head. Xia Qi Yuan was not annoyed in the slightest. He gently took off my shoes and socks. Miss, do I have the right to say this to you now? Say what? I was stunned. Don't marry Xiao Lin. Under my astonished gaze, he chuckled softly and took out the imperial seal from his robes, placing it under my feet. Miss, I want to marry you. Xia Qi Yuan gently kissed the back of my foot. Miss, please don't abandon me, okay, to you. I am not the Prince Regent, I am your little dog. My heart was pounding wildly, my voice was strained. Xia Qi Yuan, we are all fictional characters, just figures in a story. The one you truly love is. I know, Xia Qi Yuan interrupted me gently, winking playfully. Miss, I actually awakened even earlier than you. He grabbed the hem of my skirt, inhaling my scent. Miss, no matter what fate holds, I am your dog forever. I will never betray you. But miss, you can only have me as your dog in this lifetime, okay? Don't abandon me like last time, or I will really go crazy. I will lock you up, but I don't want to hurt you, miss. The look in Xia Qi Yuan's eyes was filled with insane possessiveness, frightening me, but this was exactly what I wanted. I seemed to have everything in this life, but I had nothing. I couldn't keep my mother, who died in the conspiracies of the inner court, nor could I save my father, who had a change of heart, or hold on to my fiancé, who loved my half-sister. Nothing had ever truly belonged to me, because I was the villainous. I could only be a stepping stone for the protagonists, but now, I also had someone who would always be loyal to me and never betray me. For the first time, I lowered my head to Xia Qi Yuan, gently kissing his forehead. Okay, in the next moment, I was pinned to the bridal bed by Xia Qi Yuan, who held me tightly. Miss Ain, you finally belong to me. It wasn't until the next day that I learned what had actually happened. After being driven away by me, Xia Qi Yuan had gone completely mad. He overturned all his original plans and, disregarding everyone's advice, insisted on leading his privately raised troops into the palace, beheading the emperor with a single strike, and Xiao Yu was also hacked to death by the chaotic blades during this palace coup. After the initial joy, I felt a little lost. I asked Xia Qi Yuan, so now you're the emperor and I'm the empress? No, Xia Qi Yuan placed the imperial seal in my hand. You are the emperor now. Ah, I was stunned. What about you? Xia Qi Yuan grabbed my other hand and nuzzled it. Of course, I'm your little dog, your majesty. Me, Barrage. Is this right? Xia Qi Yuan wasn't joking. I really became the emperor. I looked at myself in the mirror, dressed in a dragon robe. You've worked so hard for so long. Are you really willing to give up the throne to me? Xia Qi Yuan wrapped his arms around my waist from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. Didn't your majesty say that you wanted to be second to none? But you are my master. How can I let you be below me? I laughed. Then let the little dog bark a couple of times for me to hear. Xia Qi Yuan nuzzled my neck. Woof woof woof. When attending the enthronement ceremony, Xia Qi Yuan held my hand and walked step by step towards the golden dragon throne. All the civil and military officials of the court knelt down to me, and I smiled slightly. Rise, my beloved subjects. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. The breakup climax is finally coming. The long-awaited dark room scene. Heh. Male supporting character's dark demeanor cosplaying as an aloof flower is really impressive. He has all sorts of props in the secret room and can still remain unmoved while the female supporting character is sitting on his lap. Or maybe it's just that the male supporting character is good at holding back, looking forward to the moment he explodes. Hee. Am I the only one who feels sorry for the female supporting character? Their body sizes are so different, she probably can't handle it. Let me suffer instead. When I was about to break up with Zhou Jinza, these inexplicable words suddenly popped into my head. For safety's sake, I decided to postpone the breakup. 1. What did you want to say just now? Zhou Jinza asked casually, while flipping through the documents in his hand. His nonchalant attitude made me wonder if the real-time comments flashing in my mind were just hallucinations. I'll only remind you once. Don't pay attention to the male supporting character's documents. Blind student, you've discovered the key point hidden under the document. As expected, the male supporting character is not only stubborn, but also has the assets to back it up. Hearing this, I couldn't help but look at his documents, and although I didn't see anything, my face was already flushed. I paid to be with Zhou Jinza. 2 years ago, a strange transfer student named Zhou came to our class. She didn't have a car, but she clenched her fists every day and shouted, "Go." But the people around me seemed to be mesmerized by her, and they all revolved around her. My fiancé, Meng Lin, who was a good match for me, fell in love with her at first sight and followed her around, making me a laughingstock. Those good friends and girlfriends were infected by her positive attitude and became more and more supportive of her, eventually becoming strangers to me. I didn't understand what was going on in this world. Was the persona of a spoiled young lady unpopular? So I chose to retaliate according to my nature. I hired her brother, Zhou Jinza, and made him my subordinate to humiliate Zhou. For 3 years, I repeatedly picked on Zhou as her sister-in-law and was sarcastic towards her. For example, when I was angry, "Zhou, I think you're really second to none in math and English. You can't even understand this, sister-in-law. How do you know I'm good at these 2 subjects? Did my brother tell you?" Or when I habitually argued with her, "I feel like the dishes I cooked today weren't as good as last time. My cooking skills have declined." "Not good, add some insecticide and it'll be delicious. Ha 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 ha, sister-in-law, you're so funny, it's so delicious I'm going to heaven." Every time, Zhou bluntness prevented me from hurting her in the slightest, but it dealt me 10,000 critical hits, which was too harmful to my health. I finally confirmed that Zhou was just a silly girl with a head full of positive energy, a silly girl who wasted 3 years of my time, thinking that it was no longer necessary to waste time retaliating against a fool. I decided to part ways with her brother. Commentary unveiled when I called Zhou Jinza to make an appointment. He had just finished reporting his work. I thought he would only be able to come later, but I didn't expect him to come down 5 minutes later. "Zhou Jinza, I hadn't even uttered the 3 words, "break up," when those obscene words appeared in my mind, making me afraid to say those 3 words, because I didn't finish my sentence. The air froze for a moment. "What did you want to say just now?" "Zhou Jinza, we haven't seen each other for a long time. I came to see you." Zhou Jinza's dead fish face still didn't show any expression. He just raised his eyes and looked at me carefully, and then uttered a word after a pause. "Okay." The comments in my mind popped up again. Did anyone notice how gentle the male supporting characters, was? Earphone users are ecstatic. Is the female supporting character going to hold back a big move? Logically, this should be the breakup scene, I'll guess. The female supporting character feels the male supporting character's hidden intense love, and she's going to completely open her heart and accept the male supporting character. Am I the only one who loves the female lead and her brother? It's a pity that incest is not allowed anymore for fear of affecting minors. I'm starving. The villainous and the seemingly effeminate male lead are so shippable. Xuan. Quickly capture the male lead. Make him take off his mask and expose his true nature, to be crazy for you, to be wild for you, to bang his head against the wall for you. The commenter above just wants Shersun to get some, me too. Based on the useful information in the barrage, I belatedly realized that I seem to be the vicious female supporting character in an otome game. If nothing else goes wrong, the female lead in this world should be Zhou, and the male lead must be Meng Lin. No wonder everyone is attracted to her. I thought she was using some kind of witchcraft, but it turns out she has the female lead halo. After figuring this out, I felt relieved, so it was all just the plot. I mean, I'm not that bad. 3 love potion. After washing up, I lay in bed picking out wedding gifts for Zhou and Meng Lin. Their wedding is next month. I didn't want to pick them out at first, but Zhou seemed to be looking forward to seeing my gift, so okay. I'll reluctantly pick one for her. Why is the villainous looking at apartments while searching for gifts? To be fair, this Ingner apartment is great in all aspects except for the price. The villainous doesn't want to run away, does she? The male lead is a Yandere to the death. He can catch her no matter where she goes. Don't even think about running then. Tell us more about the not being able to walk steadily part. She wouldn't be thinking of buying a house as a gift for Zhou. Right, rich woman, I love you. Shouldn't the male lead be confessing to the female lead at this time? Why is he back? He seems a little out of it. In less than 2 seconds, there was a sound of something heavy falling to the ground outside. After a few seconds of silence, the barrage went wild. Why did the male lead suddenly faint? The thud scared me. Yeah, he's a big guy. He shouldn't faint so easily. Could it be that the rejection was too much for him? I understand. Heartbreak makes people feel weak all over. Under this twisted feeling, our Joe CP is about to be served. Wait, isn't anyone concerned about the male lead's well-being? What if it's a stroke? Prompted by the barrage, I rushed downstairs and saw Joe Jinza lying in the middle of the floor. After checking his vital signs and confirming that everything was normal, I finally felt relieved. Only then did I realize that Joe Jinza's body was frighteningly hot. Before, we always watched the male lead looking at the villainous's sleeping face. This is the first time we've seen the male lead sleeping. So cute. The male lead probably has a fever, so he couldn't stand steadily and fell over. Sisters, I think I know why the male lead has a fever. It might be because of the villainous's perfume. I get it. I knew something was wrong with that perfume. The villainous is not to be trifled with. Instantly, the barrage was full of, I get it, messages. And there may be some who pretended to understand, but I really don't understand. Did Joe Jinza secretly spray my perfume? What does that have to do with his fever? Fortunately, Joe Jinza hadn't woken up yet. After searching online, I found that this perfume actually has a small amount of aphrodisiac ingredients. No wonder I've seen him running to the bathroom a lot these past few days. He was going to take cold showers. I'm amazing, a charming and vicious female supporting character. For love is confusing, so Joe Jinza opened his eyes and saw me taking selfies with my phone. Joe Jinza, you're finally awake. I was so worried about you. After saying that, I winked at the camera. Sorry. Joe Jinza struggled to prop himself up to talk to me. Joe Jinza, who's prettier, me or Joanan? Before my brain could react, the question blurted out. Forget it. Never mind. You're the prettiest. As the two sentences intertwined, I almost thought I heard wrong. Staring at his hazy eyes, the male lead has finally learned to flatter the villainous. If he had said that earlier, he wouldn't have been a silent punching bag for the villainous. I assent, the male lead speaking from the heart now. Xuan is obviously the most beautiful, the person upstairs. Don't be fooled by the male supporting character. He only loves the female lead from beginning to end. He imprisoned the female supporting character out of hatred in the later stages because he was tortured and psychologically twisted and wanted to take revenge. A bit exciting. This is what adults should watch. All I did was publicly declare my love in college, causing him to be scolded as a gold digger, occasionally mocking him, and calling him in the middle of the night to pick up a package. What did I do wrong? Joe Jinza is still a bit narrow-minded, too easily twisted. While I was stunned, Joe Jinza actually fainted again, coincidentally falling on me. His scorching skin made a gasp against my neck, the kind that couldn't be seen, really putting a hot face on a cold neck. Enjoying it. Finished. Next. Finished. Next. 5. The mystery of fainting from a kiss. Wake up, Joe Jinza. Wake up. Get up quickly. I'm sleepy and want to go to sleep. I pushed the man in front of me, but he didn't react, seeing that shouting and pushing were useless. I supported myself with one hand and swung my arm to his face. Slap. Joe Jinza woke up, but I also lost my balance and couldn't control my body, falling backward with him. The pain didn't come at the moment of falling, and a large palm behind my head took everything from me. Looking at Joe Jinza above me, his eyes were stained with lust. I instinctively wanted to escape, but was restrained and unable to move. At the moment of contact, I nervously forgot to breathe. With only one thought, Joe Jinza's mouth is so soft. Joe Jinza gradually encroached. His thick palms rubbed my hair, constantly deepening the kiss, until the air in my lungs disappeared. He gently let me go. Then, he fainted again. The first time I've seen a male character who can faint from this. Our Joe CP had intimate contact. Let's set off fireworks to celebrate. I already want to fast forward to the scene after the female supporting character is drugged. I'm really not suitable for this kind of pure love. I don't have time to pay attention to what the barrage is saying. My oxygen-deprived brain needs to rest. I covered Joe Jinza with several quilts and went to sleep, but this sleep was extremely difficult. It seemed like countless ants were crawling on me in my dream, tingling, and a snake tightly wrapped around me, almost strangling me awake. 6. Letting a wolf into the house. When I woke up in the morning, breakfast was on the table. And Zhou Jinza was gone. I ate breakfast and accidentally found several missed calls from my mother on my phone. Just then the phone rang again, and I answered it. Mom, what's wrong? Why did you call so many times? Xuan, today I heard from your Aunt Chen that Meng Lin is getting married next month. What happened between you and him? We broke up. That's good. Do you still remember Uncle Li's son, Xiao Yu? You always bullied him when you were little. I searched my mind for the name Xiao Yu and found no impression. Maybe it was a playmate from before I was 8 years old. Mom forgot that you don't remember things from when you were little. Xiao Yu is back from abroad now. Why don't you two meet? It's been more than 10 years since we last saw each other. Xiao Yu looks even more handsome, and his figure is also good. Under my mom's offensive, I finally agreed to meet that so-called childhood playmate, Li Siyu. It wasn't until I opened the door that I understood what my mom meant by, "There's a surprise when you open the door." A shy and restrained big boy was standing outside the door holding a bouquet of flowers, and called out, "Hello, Sister Xuan." As soon as he saw me, with a slight tremor in his voice, if I'm not wrong, he must be Xiao Yu. Out of humanitarian concern, I invited him into my house. Who is this person? Why haven't I seen him? He looks like a well-behaved little wife. He should be some cannon fodder. What important role could the female supporting character's pursuer be? I love this look too. Female supporting character, please all in. Let him and Zhou Jinza attack from both sides. Be a happy woman. I remember. This Li Siyu is the biggest villain in this novel, because he was too good-looking. He was molested by the orphanage director when he was a child, and the female supporting character accidentally saved him, in the end. He killed, expanded. The comments were up and down, but I only cared about the expanded content. Why is there a comment limit for this Huang Yiyo? Who did Li Siyu kill in the end? According to the logic, the one to be killed is me, isn't it? I watched Li Siyu, who was so beautiful that he was indistinguishable between male and female, walk in step by step. I really brought a wolf into the house. Xiao Yu, what would you like to drink? I asked, opening the refrigerator. Just plain water. Thank you, Sister Xuan, Li Siyu said obediently, sitting on the sofa, looking at this boy sitting in front of me drinking water quietly. It's hard to believe that he will kill me in the end. No more clues about him appeared in the comments. Better to believe it than not. I chose to observe him first, but when I looked up, I found this child staring at me in a daze. He suddenly lowered his head when he met my eyes, and his face turned red. No way, can such an innocent kid be a murderer? Maybe the comments are wrong, maybe it's just a homophone mistake. I started a QA conversation with Li Siyu, mainly me asking and him answering, thinking that my mother said I bullied him when I was a child. It's indeed very possible. After all, he's so well behaved that people have the urge to bully him. Just as Li Siyu was helping me recall my childhood stories, the door lock opened, and Zhou Jinza strode in. I don't know if he heard Li Siyu say, "Sister Xuan. You said you would marry me when you grow up when you were a child," but he must have seen Li Siyu's shy look. People who didn't know would think I did something to him. Sure enough, Zhou Jinza is that kind of person. He looked at us quietly for a few seconds and went upstairs without saying a word. 7 Jealousy arises. Sister Xuan, is that man your brother-in-law? Do you want me to explain? He might have misunderstood and looks angry, Li Siyu said slowly. I realize that this person has two faces. One is a shy and innocent milk dog, and the other is a green tea attacking bitch dog. After comforting Li Siyu and sending him out, I went upstairs and knocked on Zhou Jinza's door. I know he wouldn't misunderstand, but this workaholic suddenly came back, so something must be up. The moment the door opened, a handsome face covered with water droplets peeked out. The palm print on his face hadn't disappeared. Inexplicably reminding people of last night's ambiguity, the male supporting character is so scheming. He took off his concealer to reveal the palm print as soon as he got home. Everyone guess who he's reminding, and he deliberately didn't wipe the water off his face, making himself look like a lotus emerging from clear water. Seducing who? Is there something you need when you came back? I cut to the chase. Fearing to look at his face, there's an important document left at home. So I came back to get it. Still the same calm and composed tone. Zhou Jinza, would you die if you said you saw a strange man in the house on the surveillance camera and you were jealous? Bury the male supporting character who doesn't have a mouth. bury him. Seeing the comments, I realized how clumsy Zhou Jin's excuse was, so he really is jealous, ate emotional tentative in the past. My relationship with him was limited to being supported, with no love and no physical transactions. Putting aside everything else, Zhou Jinza is indeed a very good partner, doing whatever he's told without any complaints. We have a purely monetary transaction relationship and have never had close contact, except for last night, so I really don't understand what he's jealous about. In order to test the authenticity of these perverted comments, I deliberately pretended to fall on flat ground, and fell into Zhou Jinza's arms. Zhou Jinza, my feet hurt so much. Quickly carry me to the bed and massage them, I ordered him. The next second, strong arms scooped me up, a perfect princess carry, and before I knew it, I was placed on the bed. Zhou Jinza carefully took off my shoes and socks, and even though he couldn't see any redness, he diligently massaged my feet. Not missing a single spot, from my perspective, I could see fine beads of sweat already forming on Zhou Jinza's forehead, the veins on his rolled-up sleeves bulging, his slender fingers pressing and pulling on my feet. Zhou Jinza, my feet aren't injured, I said with a smile, confessing the truth. Zhou Jinza looked up and met my gaze, continuing his work. The veins on his pale skin pulsed noticeably, especially as he pressed on my feet, creating an indescribable sense of abstinence. Zhou Jinza, did you really mean it yesterday when you said I'm prettier than Zhou Anan? The pressure on my foot suddenly paused, then resumed. His deep voice sounded, I meant it, I didn't hear you clearly. Zhou Jinza, you have to look me in the eyes when you say it, I said, lifting my foot to kick his shoulder. Unexpectedly, before my foot could lift, he grabbed my ankle, immobilizing it. Sure Sun, you are prettier than Anan. His eyes held a vast ocean, so gentle it almost drowned me. This was the first time I had seen so much helplessness and indulgence in Zhou Jinza's eyes, as if he were admitting defeat. I couldn't decipher the deeper meaning in his eyes, nor did I want to guess. I just wanted to be free. Zhou Jinza, do you know you bullied me last night, so now I'm going to bully you back. Looking at the stunned Zhou Jinza, my mood improved greatly. Taking advantage of his inattention, I quickly pecked him on the lips. When I pulled back, his ears were completely red. And he looked at me in disbelief before standing up and fleeing. Watching his flustered steps, I playfully teased, Zhou Jinza, are you shy? You were much more excessive yesterday. I've barely even started. Sure enough, he left even faster. I took the opportunity to take a closer look at what the comments were saying. The female supporting character just went ahead and kissed him. The dawn of your love is right before your eyes. I sent the male supporting character supposed to be forceful. How is he so innocent? The contrast is so cute. It's over. Male supporting character, your innocence is gone. You can only follow the female supporting character for the rest of your life. Seeing them like this, they have so much potential for 4i. I want to see the female supporting character whip the male supporting character hard, or step on him. 9-night banquet of passion since that stolen kiss incident. Zhou Jinza's eyes have been somewhat shifty when he sees me. Until the day of Zhou Anan's wedding, the wedding banquet was exceptionally lively. After dinner, there was a party, and I stayed up with them until 11 o'clock. In the end, I couldn't take it anymore, asked Zhou Anan for a room card, and went back to my room to wash up and sleep. Not long after lying down, a strange heat suddenly spread through my body, as if countless flames were burning. I quickly turned on the light, only to find that the scenery in front of me was gradually blurring. And my mind was becoming increasingly chaotic. I just wanted to release the fire. I grabbed my phone and called Zhou Jinza, who answered in less than 2 seconds. Zhou Jinza, come to my room quickly. 3:06. It was the first time I had spoken such short words in such a panting tone. Knock, knock, knock. A neat knocking sound came from the door. I dragged my soft, weak legs, supported myself against the wall, and walked towards the door, accompanied by an indescribable itch throughout my body. Every step was difficult. Finally, after 5 minutes, I opened the door. In an instant, I collapsed against Zhou Jinza, pressing my face tightly against his neck to cool down, and my body couldn't help but rub against him. He turned and led me into the room, closed the door, and propped me against the wall. I couldn't see the expression on his face, but I vaguely heard his voice. Sure Sun, do you know who I am? Zhou Jin. Zhou Jin. What? Zhou Jean, you are, Zhou Jinza. I answered haltingly while fumbling with the buttons of his shirt. The next second, I was picked up again and returned to the bed. Looking at the handsome face above me, I started kissing him, my hands also wandering restlessly. I completely abandoned all my worries, only doing what felt good according to my instincts. When I came to my senses, Zhou Jinza was still under the covers, and I called him out in a hoarse voice, looking at his messy hair and the corner of his mouth. I felt a great deal of pressure. Let's get dressed first, I said calmly, like a heartless man. After I got dressed, Zhou Jinza came out in his no longer neat suit. I'm sorry about last night. In an emergency, I violated the contract and touched you. I'll pay you compensation. I picked up my phone to transfer money to him, but I met his cold gaze. Sure Sun, what have you been taking me for these 3 years? Just a tool to anger Zhou. Do you even have a heart? Zhou Jinza stood by the end of the bed, helpless and angry. I don't, I blurted out. Yes, of course you don't, because you still treat me like a plaything that can be bought with money, summoned and dismissed at will, just like now, right? He smiled mockingly, full of self-deprecation. Zhou Jinza took out a bank card from his pocket and said calmly, Sure Sun, this is all the money you've given me for keeping me these past 3 years. I'm returning it all to you now. Our relationship ends here, starting today. He bent down and placed the card on the bed, then turned and walked away. The end of a love affair. My mind was blank, only the comments section was fluctuating. The female supporting character is too heartless. It was consensual, but she still wants to give the male supporting character money. Isn't that treating him like a gigolo? I feel so sorry for the male supporting character. I really hope the female supporting character can go and comfort him. Doesn't the female supporting character have even a little bit of affection for the male supporting character? How can she just watch him leave with a broken heart like that? I agree with what the male supporting character said. The female supporting character really doesn't have a heart. Don't scold the female supporting character. She just hasn't figured out her feelings yet. Looking at these words, I couldn't help but reflect. Did I really do something wrong? Hearing the sound of the doorknob turning, my mouth reacted first. Zhou Jinza, I won't let you go. He paused for a moment before slowly making a sound. Sure Sun, in what capacity are you ordering me now? The money has already been returned to you. We have no relationship. The doorknob turned again, and he stepped out. I then realized that if he stepped out of this door, perhaps we would never cross paths again in this lifetime. No, I can't do that. I quickly ran to him and hugged him tightly from behind. No, you're not allowed to leave me. You're just not allowed to go. I hugged him and acted unreasonably. I only willingly obey my family's orders. Sure Sun, what makes you think you have the right to command me? His tone was indifferent, his words like knives. I'll treat you like my younger brother, then you'll still listen to me, right? I found a loophole in his words and climbed up the pole. Zhou Jinza then turned around, looked down at me, his eyes containing a profound meaning. I don't need a younger sister, don't you know what I'm missing? He chuckled. I understood what he wanted. It's not that I haven't been moved these past few days, it's just that every time I think about how Zhou Jinza's one true love in this life is his younger sister Zhou, and that I, this villainous female supporting character, am just a substitute, I get angry. Why are we puppets controlled by the plot? I insist on walking out of my own emotional script. With this in mind, I stood on tiptoe, wrapped my arms around Zhou Jinza's neck, and kissed him fiercely. When the kiss ended, we were both in a daze. Are you willing? Zhou Jinza stared at me and asked nervously. I am willing. After blocking his words, I went up again, and he cooperated and lowered his head. In the middle of the night, we were the only two passionately kissing in the hallway, 11 under the mask. When I woke up, Zhou Jinza was nowhere to be seen. Immediately after, I heard a knock on the door. I thought Zhou Jinza was back and went to open the door. The moment the door was opened, before I could see who it was, I fainted. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a strange room, a room without windows and a locked door. What was suffocating was that the layout of this room was exactly the same as my room, the only difference being that it was full of my photos, from elementary school to the present. There were even many candid photos I had never seen before, close-ups, distant shots, back views, and side profiles. Looking at these photos, I felt a chill in my heart. Which pervert had been watching me since elementary school? Click. the door opened, and a man wearing a mask walked in. "How do you feel?" A hoarse, strange tone came from under his mask. "You disgusting, vile thing. Who are you? What do you want from me, you pervert?" I asked him angrily. He slowly walked towards me, and I gripped the pen behind my back, which I had just found in the desk while groping around the room. The distance was getting shorter and shorter, now. I revealed the pen and stabbed it towards his chest, but he twisted my wrist and threw me to the ground. I fell to the ground, my wrist throbbing with pain, but my eyes were fixed on his mask. "Who the hell are you?" I gritted my teeth, enduring the pain, trying to catch a glimpse of a clue from under his mask. He didn't answer my question, but said to himself, "I remember you used to say that you don't make friends with poor people." So I climbed up step by step to become who I am today. Suddenly, he changed the subject and stared at me intently. "But what are you doing now? You're actually with a man who depends on you. Are you talking about Joe Jinza?" I asked tentatively, while quietly adjusting my posture, ready to fight back at any time. "He's starting a business recently, right? What do you think he'll do if I give him 5 million to break up with you? Let's wait and see." "Hello." The masked man's call to Joe Jinza was answered instantly. "Mr. Joe. You sound tired. It seems that recent investments haven't been easy to come by." The masked man chuckled. "What do you want to say?" "I'll invest 5 million in you, on the condition that you leave Shursun. It's a guaranteed profit. You should seize the opportunity. Is Shursun in your hands now?" "Yes." "Do you want to say hello to her?" The masked man looked at me with interest. "No need. I will carefully consider what you said." After saying that, he hung up the phone. The air stagnated for 2 seconds before the masked man burst into a fit of hysterical laughter. "Shursun, is this the man you found? He doesn't care about anything when he hears about money, so materialistic. Your taste in men is as bad as ever." The masked man walked up to me step by step, his tone full of mockery. "Stop pretending, Lee Siyu. If we're talking about being materialistic, can he be more materialistic than you?" I looked into his eyes and sneered, full of contempt. His breathing became rapid, and the voice under the mask was filled with suppressed anger. "You don't know anything." I stood up and slowly circled him, sizing him up and down, and finally leaned close to his ear and whispered, "Xiao Yu, you must be very happy after stealing someone else's life all these years." "Shut up. Who is all this for?" "Shursun, why are you looking at me like that?" His fists clenched, his knuckles turning white. Obviously I had hit a nerve. I continued to provoke him, my tone becoming sharper and sharper. "It must feel great to go from an orphan to a young master. This comfortable life is clearly what you're living. How can you say it's for me?" "Shut up." He suddenly became furious and tore off his mask. 12 The truth revealed. The delicate face beneath the mask was now contorted with anger and pain, the expression so distorted I almost didn't recognize him. "You've finally shown your true colors," I said coldly, without a trace of fear in my heart. "What do you know?" he roared, his voice filled with despair. "I'm the one who should have everything. Why him? Why could he so easily gain everyone's love, while I could only live like a puppet? Because you never understood what love is," I said calmly, taking advantage of his emotional outburst. I suddenly used all my strength to stab the pen in my hand into his shoulder. He recoiled in pain, and I took the opportunity to rush towards the door, frantically twisting the handle. The door wasn't locked. I rushed out of the room, running for my life, hearing only his angry roar behind me. I burst out of the room, my heart pounding wildly. At the end of the corridor, Joe Jinza was running towards me anxiously, his face etched with worry and tension. "Are you all right?" He grabbed my shoulders, looking me up and down. Afraid I was hurt, I gasped for breath, about to speak, when I suddenly heard hurried footsteps behind me. I turned around sharply, and Lee Siyu staggered out of the room, the pen still sticking in his shoulder, blood dripping down his arm onto the floor. His eyes were cold and crazy, but a strange smile hung on his lips. He slowly raised his hand, pointed at me, and said in a hoarse, low voice, "You think you can get away?" Joe Jinza immediately stood in front of me, his eyes sharply fixed on Lee Siyu. "Are you crazy? What do you want?" Lee Siyu did not answer, but suddenly quickened his pace and rushed towards us. His movement seemed to be directed at me, but at the last moment, he suddenly turned to Joe Jinza. "Careful," I exclaimed, but it was too late. A flash of light, and a dagger stabbed straight into Joe Jinza's chest. although he dodged a fatal blow. The blade still cut across his arm, and blood instantly stained his sleeve red. Zhou Jinza groaned, grabbed Li Siyu's wrist, twisted it hard, and pinned him to the ground, but Li Siyu suddenly laughed, his laughter filled with madness and despair. Why, everything you have should have been mine. Why do you get her love? Why do you get everyone's approval? It should all be mine. The entire corridor echoed with his frantic laughter. The man before me was a far cry from the shy, obedient image he had presented before. I saw that Zhou Jinza seemed to be lost in thought for a moment, worried that he wouldn't be able to hold Li Siyu down. Fortunately, at this moment, sirens came from outside, and the police quickly rushed in and took the male's second away. 13 memory resurfaces. The police uncle finally came to take this pervert away. I was scared to death. I feel like this man is completely insane. Everyone saw it. This is what a real pervert is like. Our male supporting character is at most a small fry, although I came in for the forced love, but they are so purely in love. I'm crying. You must be happy, Sure Sun, Zhou Jinza, you must be happy. Sorry to go off topic. I really think the female supporting character can see our barrage. The words she used to provoke Li Siyu just now really sound like the spoilers I posted, and, expand, this was the last barrage I saw. And I call her the spoiler expander because she always shows up with spoilers and goes over the word count. I was able to get out in time this time thanks to her. Even knowing they couldn't see it, I still said thank you in my mind. Thank you for your company and help, and I will be happy, and so will you. On the way back, Zhou Jinza suddenly confessed something to me. In fact, he was the real Li Siyu, and the other was a friend he had made in the orphanage, Su Shu. I'm not surprised by this answer. The comments section has already said almost everything that needs to be said. After organizing it, the truth can be revealed. When I was a child, the real Li Siyu disappeared in an accident, and I was so traumatized that I forgot about him. Uncle Li adopted Su Shu, his son's good friend, and cultivated him in order to stabilize the situation. Zhou Jinza was also adopted by Zhou Anan's parents, and for some reason, he also lost all his memories until Su Shu's words just now reminded him of his own background. So Zhou Jinza was bullied by me since he was a child. It turns out that there have been so many entanglements between us. 14 Eternal love. The neon lights at night illuminate the falseness and fragility of this city. Watching him drive in silence, I guess the accident was not that simple, which made him unable to let go. Zhou Jinza, have you been secretly in love with me since you were a child? I brought up a topic hoping to make him feel more relaxed. No, it was when we reunited. I calculated that we separated at the age of 8 and reunited at the age of 19. We missed each other for 11 years. Then why do you like me? I always picked on you back then. Xuan, does one need a reason to like someone? Love arises from nowhere and deepens. But I was really mean to you and your sister at the time. I always humiliated you with money, and I watched others isolate you. Looking back on my past behavior, I realized how excessive I was, but that wasn't your true intention, was it? So it doesn't matter. I was surprised that he lightly brushed over my evil deeds, like a complete saint, but didn't the comments section say that he would turn dark later? So I asked again, unwilling to give up, didn't you have any other ideas at the time, like something evil? At this moment, he drove into the garage and stopped. Zhou Jinza turned to look at me, his eyes seeming to hide stormy waves. I was just beginning to experience love, and you were so bad, so I bullied you in my dreams every night, with just one sentence. His voice became slightly hoarse. I braced myself and met his gaze, asking the last question, what if I never like you? Then I will always watch you from behind, able to be with you. I didn't believe that this man would be so honest. So I deliberately interrupted him, then I will marry another man. And I will invite you to the wedding, and have a son as handsome as him, and a daughter as beautiful as me. After saying that, I realized that Zhou Jinza's eyes were gradually filling with tears. No, are you really pure love? I quickly made up for it. Zhou Jinza, I'm sorry, I was just talking nonsense. I don't want to marry someone else. I only want to marry you and have children with you. Okay. The next second, he unbuckled his seat belt and kissed me. Tears flowed over our lips. Wet and cool, just like his love, like moss, spreading silently in the dark where there is no light, and at this moment, the light shines in. I have always hoped that someone could accept my arrogance and willfulness, and tolerate my arrogance and selfishness, Zhou Jinza appeared, and he accepted everything about me, always obeying my orders, always loyal. So, before I realized it, I had already fallen in love with him. This time, we finally got the real he script. Extra, a few days later. We received the news that Su Shu was sent to a mental hospital and was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia. It is said that his mental state had not been very good when he was studying abroad, and the last incident completely drove him crazy. In short, he will have to pay for his youthful obsession for the rest of his life. Zhou Jinza also returned to his ancestors and became the heir of the Li family, but his name has not changed. And Uncle Li and my parents quickly helped us pick an engagement date. If I hadn't stopped them, they would have held a wedding banquet. Because of this, Zhou Jinza thought I didn't want to marry him again, and he was aggrieved for several days. It took me a lot of coaxing to make him feel better. Ever since Zhou Jinza learned that tears could soften my heart, he's been doing this all the time. What can I say? A man's tears are a woman's stimulant. I was traveling with Zhou Jinza in Dali when we learned about Zhou Enen's pregnancy. The setting sun spilled over the Arai lake, the water sparkling. Zhou Jinza wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder and whispering, Xuan, let's get married." His voice was gentle and firm, as if he had been brewing it in his heart 1,000 times. Okay, then a ring was slowly slipped onto my ring finger. A Mobius ring, symbolizing endless love, 2 hands clasped tightly. I gently told them in my mind, even knowing there would be no reply, "Look, we are really happy. Perhaps you behind the barrage will never know that your companionship allows me to see myself clearly and learn how to love someone. So, please, you must be happy too." After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.